Welcome into the high school fan zone on Wednesday night. We are back. I've missed a couple times. Trent Hilliard's with me from Friendship, before I forget. Was up in Kansas helping elderly parents through some stuff, and I'm glad to be back. Was glad to be there last night, Trent. I hadn't seen your girls play in a while. Got to see them finish up, get some work finished up.
That's right.
Claimed a district championship. I'm going to have you run through the numbers real quick. You gave them to me last night, but they're going to sound better coming from you. But you guys, your girls are playing really well, and I've seen them a couple times this year. Matter of fact, I may be a good luck charm. I don't think I've seen you lose this year.
All right, keep coming then.
Here we go. Devin Griffin was on the other night. I had to kind of forgive her for the first two times I'd seen him play, because the first two times I saw Estacado girls play was against Monterey and against you guys.
Oh, okay.
It didn't go so well for them those two nights. But I did cover their two games against Liberty, so we're back to square one. Your girls finished up the regular season, beat Midland Legacy 78-26, which I'll have you get the numbers here in a minute, but that clinches the 2025 district championship undefeated. I saw this, I think you tweeted this today, or somebody did. That's just the second time you guys have done it undefeated.
Yeah, it's only the second time in history. The other was the 2019 district season, and so it's been a little bit since we've done that, but yeah, you would think with the success, the long-standing success of Friendship, that may have happened more, but there's always been that one loss or a couple, in district play, and so to get the undefeated run this year, and do that was something that we didn't set out as a goal at the beginning of the year, but as we went through and it became closer and became attainable, then that is something that we pointed out to the kids, that there's only one banner up there that says undefeated district champs, and you get a chance to put a second one.
You guys have a pretty good track record started this year at Friendship, because the boys did it in football. Amy do it in volleyball, or did they lose once?
I think we lost once.
They got nicked once. Yeah. So you guys are the second ones to do it. And there is something just a little bit different. I mean, district championships are nice, period.
Right.
But having that zero on the right side, there's something a little bit special about it.
Absolutely. And our district wasn't as strong this year as it has been in the past. And so we were able to roll through it fairly easily. Last night we're playing a team that's 8-1 in district, and it's a battle for the district title. And we roll them by 52 points. And so I think that speaks a little bit about the strength of our district, but it speaks a whole lot about the strength of the team that we have this year.
You're downplaying it a little bit, but I know when we talked before the year, you guys and Liberty girls, Morgan Glaspie's team, remind me a little bit of each other. I think you both came into the season knowing you had talented teams, but there was some unknown. There were some you had lost a lot of seniors.
We did.
You knew you'd be good, but you didn't know exactly how those parts were. You and Morgan both put those pieces together and your assistant coaches put those pieces together very well this season and got girls into district and got a nice head of steam going.
Yeah, it has been good. Our kids have been really good about finding their role on the team, and then fulfilling that. And we talk a lot about putting together a basketball team is a lot like putting together a puzzle. You kind of start, you got those corner pieces that are pretty obvious where they go, and you can fill those, but then you got to find the rest of them, and you find those side pieces that match those up, and then you start filling it in, and we tell the girls it's not complete. One piece can be missing, and that puzzle is non-functional. It can be 1,000 pieces, but if we don't have that one, it's like, what did we do? And so every piece is important, and that's how we feel like our team is. They've all played their role, and some of those roles have to change when you have sicknesses and injuries and different things, but they've done an outstanding job doing that throughout the year.
We're going to talk about how you guys overcame one particular, I don't want to say it's a nagging injury, because I know part of it was you were holding Addison out to make sure she was okay, but I'll add something to your metaphor, your simile. I forget what it is there. You had puzzle pieces. You had two very good corner puzzle pieces with Addison Bollinger and Jada Jackson.
Right.
You had some other players, but if it was a puzzle, those puzzle pieces they're still pretty crisp around the edges because you hadn't used them a whole lot yet. Well, Kaya Buchanan stepped in there and became a big player for you. Addison Middleton last night, all she did was score 10 points in a quarter last night.
Exactly.
Keaton Birch had been around but hadn't played a ton. So all those girls were around. You guys had to figure out how to get them to elevate their games.
Right. And I think that's part of having a program instead of a team.
Yep.
Where you can develop those kids, you can develop them through your middle school, through your high school years, when they're on the bench last year and they're having to play against those other kids every single day. They're getting better and better, and so as you move forward, you feel like, okay, it's your time now. It's your time to go shine, and you stick out, and you don't know if they'll be ready or not, and so that's what's nice, that you've got those preseason games, those pre-district games, that you can kind of get a good evaluation about what your team can and can't do, and then by the time district rolls around, you're ready to go. So we feel like we've made improvement throughout the year, and that now it's time that we should be peaking for playoffs.
They sure seem to be. The Tigers won district 10-0, 23-7, or 20. No, that's your boys that are just won their 23.
Right, we're 28-6.
And at one point you were trying to think. You weren't struggling by any means, but you hadn't really broken loose. You guys have won a bunch of games besides district before then. You're on a pretty good run.
We have. We had the one game against Farwell that we lost right after the Caprock tournament. You know, people call it a trap game. I don't know.
That's
to me,
a pretty good team.
You should be ready to go play every single game. We had a few kids that were sick, and we're kind of battling through that. But Farwell's an excellent team, and so they got us pretty good there at their place on New Year's Eve, and sometimes those are the best things. You come off a great Caprock tournament and a win over Monterey, and it kind of brings you back down to earth and get you refocused and make that district run that we were able to make.
And the urban legend has it is that sweater got packed back in mothballs after that game.
It did. It's no longer to be found, for sure.
Not that I've ever met a coach that's superstitious, but Trent may be one of the more superstitious coaches. We're coming up on a break here on the Tiger Fan Zone. We'll be back after this break to talk more Friendship Girls basketball on 100.7 The Score. I am Randy Rosetta.
Bringing you the latest news from Friendship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back into the Tiger Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. Reminder, on Wednesday nights, it's Friendship, Lubbock, Cooper, and Liberty, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday nights after Thanksgiving are the LISD nights. So on Monday we talk to Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and Monterey. We're in the Tiger Fan Zone right now with Trent Hilliard. I know I've asked you this dozens of times. You are in your 10th year?
11th year at Friendship. Yes, sir.
You and Paige, did you get there as you guys became 6A?
We did. We did. I got hired in April of that year, and then worked about 3 months, I guess, with Jason Deere, and he left, and Paige came on. So both of us started at the same time, and so we've been there the whole time that Friendship has been 6A. So, of course, Friendship went from 4A to 6A because that was the year that they first started 6A, and so there was no ever 5A for Friendship. So that was 11 years ago, and Paige and I are still there. We're the old ones around the staff nowadays.
And you guys have both built pretty phenomenal programs, both crossed 500 on the same night?
Actually, we celebrated on the same night.
Okay.
But it wasn't the same night that we got the wins.
So who got to the finish line first?
I did. I did. Mine came a little bit earlier. It was against Randall back in November.
Okay.
And then that night was actually Coach Page's night that he got his 500. So it's been kind of cool because we've hit those milestones. In the same year since we've been there, we hit the 300, the 400, and now the 500. So it's been fun that we've both been able to do that there at Friendship.
This is, if you wonder if there's good coaching, high school basketball coaching in Lubbock, Texas, you two and Tony Wagner all got to that plateau in the same season.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was kind of cool to do, and of course. Coach Snyder has about 1 million over there in Monterey, so we'll never catch her, or I won't. Wag might. He's young enough, Coach Page and Wag, but not me.
I'm glad you said that because I think They're both a little bit younger than me, but we're close to this. You and I are fairly close in age, so you got to coach for a while. You got a wife and daughters that are probably going to expect you to go until you're.
That's right. They probably want to keep me going and out of the house and bothering them too much. So as long as I keep enjoying it, then we'll just keep doing it.
Well, there's no reason you shouldn't have enjoyed this season and whatever happens the rest of the season. Not only because you guys have a good team this year, just what it struck me last night. Very important seniors, but you have a lot of underclassmen that you're going to be able to coach in the summer and get ready to come back next year. I mentioned the two cornerstones, Addison Bollinger and Jada Jackson. That's two pretty good juniors to be excited about being back.
Right. Well, Jada's just sophomore, so
okay. I'm trying to give her.
Yeah. So we're not going to elevate her in her age too fast there if we don't have to. So you've got a junior and a sophomore that are kind of as far as your production goes. But we celebrated senior night last night. Like I said, we've got Kai Buchanan that really makes our defense kind of go up there at the top, and her length, her ability to just recognize when she has to be down covering the high post, when she extends it, because our defense kind of will morph. It's not like an old amoeba that you hear about, but with Kaya, she recognizes her coverages, and so sometimes it's a 1-2-2, sometimes she's made it a 3-2, sometimes she drops back and it looks like a 2-1-2, and so it's invaluable what she brings to us up there. And then you've got Addison Middleton, and she went 2 games last week and had 20 deflections.
Wow.
In those 2 games. I mean, just it'll be kickballs, it'll be tips, sometimes leading to steal. Sometimes it's frustrating for the other team because they can't get the ball by her. And she's 5'6", but she's all over the place. And those are things that don't show up on the stats. They're not in a box score, but they're so frustrating for the other team. It completely alters what they can do. And then Birch has been phenomenal because she's able to you can't just double down on Jada. You have to cover Birch as well over there. And, she had games when we went to Odessa and she scored 18 in each one of those. And so it's a complete team, and all those pieces are there. We've just got to continue to keep our focus as we go into the playoffs and just go one game at a time, one quarter at a time, play the best that we can, and let things take care of themselves from there.
I mentioned Addison. She had an ankle injury early in the year, or concussion.
She did. She had the head injury earlier that kept her out of some games when we were at the Mesquite tournament, and came back, and she missed a few games, and then had an ankle injury that kept her out of 3 games in district play.
She's back healthy, and she looked good last night. But then again, all the Tigers did is they wrapped up a district championship. We're going to wrap this segment up and jump into the Pirate Fan Zone. Trent, we'll get you back on in the playoffs here pretty quick to see what you guys have done then.
Sounds good. Hopefully we'll still be playing.